peed my pants. That's the truth. And the pee went up, you know, back then, I don't know if it's the same way, but you sat in, like, there were tandem cars and you sat. I was in my mom's lap and my dad was behind me and the urine went in my mom and on my dad. So that's
I didn't know that. I just learned something new about Joe. And that's hard to do.
That's my first Disney memory.
That's why you want to do that on a water flume ride, so it kind of
absolutely, yeah. Splash Mountain, you never know.
I mirror what Joey said about the first question. You know, I think that we're really just out there just to have fun and make people laugh. We just really want to bring that entertainment level back to people that I think are, you know, there's so much reality television out there right now that I think a lot of people are missing the creative television, and that's what we wanted to do. We just wanted to simply make people laugh, and hopefully we'll just get to do some more of that the second season. And as far as my earliest Disney memory, not the same as Joey, but we used to go to Disney World, because growing up in New York, my grandparents lived in Florida, and we used to, probably once, maybe twice a year, we would drive down to Florida to see my grandparents, and we'd get to go to Disney World, and it was, you know, from the second the gate opened in the morning to the minute it closed at night, just like, just walking through those gates, getting on the monorail, and just like, that excitement of like, I'm gonna spend the whole day at Disney. And I think probably the earliest real memory I have of inside the park is probably riding Thunder Mountain. I just remember the first time I went on that, I just loved it. I thought, that's it, roller coasters are my thing, I love it. And then when I graduated to Space Mountain, and still to these, you know, to this day I have these little tiny kids and I'm trying to trick them into going on it, but they won't go on it yet. I did convince my son that the Thunder Mountain was just a train ride. Come on, it's just a train ride, come with me. That was not a good idea. But yeah, probably Thunder Mountain was my favorite moment.
Great. You said, Mom, what's that screaming in the distance? Any other questions? Step up. Yes?
This is for Joey Lawrence. You have great chemistry with Melissa on the show, but you also have good chemistry with the kids. Was that something you guys like spent time on before you went on the show to get that, or?
You know, I mean, for me, you know, Andrew, my youngest sibling, is sort of like 11 or 12 years younger than me, right? So there's a big age gap there. So I just associated that. I just, you know, treat like the kids, because, you know, Joe's probably 31, 32, they're 15, 16, so it's close, you know. So he's like an uncle, and that's how I felt about my littlest brother as well. I'm sort of like an uncle to him, you know. I'm in between a sibling and a parent, which is kind of like what an uncle is. So. Yeah, I just related to that, and he's, you know, he's a good kid, and she's cool too, and yeah, I think we got better as the season went on. That's what you got to do, you know. But it sort of happened naturally. We have a really good cast that way. It feels right, it feels natural, and that's, you know, more than half the battle. So. Also
on the show, I mean, you know, he didn't have any relationship with them in the first episode. He sort of stumbles into it, and so that relationship got to develop. You know, naturally, as it did on the show.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Again, I'm a talker. Marcy Masur from Marcy Masur Media. Forgot to introduce earlier. This is a strange question, but you're both child actors. How'd you stay so normal? What do you guys attribute it to?
Or are you normal?
Or are you normal?
We just haven't been caught.
Maybe not.
That's what I like to say.
I mean, relatively speaking.
No. I don't know. I mean, for me, it was just the work. You know, I love the work part of it. I'm like a workaholic, so. I guess like little kids, you know, with like the Little League, and you see these kids that's what they do, and you get to focus on something, and it wasn't about partying, it wasn't about going out and being dumb, it was about working hard and doing what you love to do. I don't know why I didn't do that stuff, other than the fact that my mom made sure that I knew that it was about me, it wasn't about her. You know, don't do these things to you. You know, I mean, you could do them to you. It doesn't really affect me, other than that I'm going to feel bad watching you go through it. But respect yourself, and I know that I'm going to be passing that on to my kids as soon as they're old enough to understand that. But it was about work and school and playing sports. And
well, I think we both grew up on the East Coast too, a little bit. You know, not necessarily in Hollywood, and so that helps a little. But we did both have great families that helped, you know, mold that along. But I think also, you know, we focus so much on the bad stories. We focus so much on the kids that are struggling through it, and the people that didn't quite make it. And you don't hear necessarily about the people that did. I mean, and the great thing about ABC Family is they have a lot of them on there. A lot of people that, you know, started off young and are still doing well, like Candace Cameron and Molly Ringwald. And, you know, you see a lot of these faces that people that have gone on to have families and other levels of their career. You think about people like like friends of mine, like Fred Savage, great director, Kelly Martin, you know, these people that have continued their careers in other ways while acting, but also directing, writing, producing, and very talented people that also have lives, have children and families, and you know, and other careers as well on the side.
Great, thanks.
Boss was like a Bernie Madoff type guy, and I was his you know, CFO, and invested $25 million of my money with him. And when he stole all of our money, you know, he's on the lam somewhere with millions and millions of dollars. And I struck a deal with the Feds to avoid jail time. And although I didn't realize what was going on, but I can't trade for 5 years, so I show up at her doorstep looking for information from her sister who's in jail, who's got to know where her husband is, so I can go kick his, you know, rear end. And we start talking, and I tell her I'm living out of my Porsche, and my wife left because there's no more gold left to dig, and that's it. So she offers me room and board, helping out around the house till I get my feet back under me, and that's essentially the premise of the show.
Yeah, so you got a down and out Wall Street guy who moves in with a kind of space cadet, former bad girl politician who's raising her teenage niece and nephew, and neither of them like the situation, but they're stuck in it, and they have to make the most of it. So it's kind of a really funny Who's the Boss?
A total dysfunctional group of people, and that hopefully lends itself to a lot of comedy.
Yep.
Will we see any other people from your past work and other sitcoms appear on this specific show?
Yeah,
You do.
I mean, we do. You know,
Joey's brothers are going to be on an episode. When is that airing?
They're coming
Is
up,
that
I
this
think, in
week?
2 weeks.
Okay, so his brothers are in 2 different episodes that'll be airing
We're airing in back-to-back
back to
chunks from
back.
8 to 9.
A Lawrence
yeah.
Brothers night. We had my friend Leslie Grossman played my cousin in an episode. My friend Christine Lakin played a friend of mine.
Fox on there, and John Ratzenberger on there.
Some great people, but you know, also like friends of ours, people that we think are talented, you know, as executive producers, and also just as people that have been in the business 30-something years. We, you know, have a lot of contacts out there. We like to call them in and make them do some work.
Yeah. If it makes sense, you know, you don't want to cast people to take you out of the story just to be able to promote, you know, this or so. You know, I actually don't like that. But if it makes sense and they can, and it works perfectly, and they're the right person, they happen to be a big TV star.
We have a large pool of talented people we know from many years. So, you know, we can call them in.
Another question? Yeah.
Is this your first time at D23 or D23, and what do you guys plan on doing after you guys do the signing? Are you going to go down to the booths or see any of this exclusive sneak peeks or anything?
I'm on a search for the Small World pin. Does anyone know where I can get this? There's the Small World pin. Where can I get that? I need to go find that. Seriously, I'm not kidding. Somebody go find me that pin. I have to find, my mother sent me, we know we're pin traders, so I know there's a new, I guess there's the anniversary of It's a Small World, so I've got to go find that pin. But my family's here, we're going to go in the park.
Same for me. Yeah, I mean, we're going to do the signing, check it out a little bit, then my kids are out in the park as well, so we meet up with them.
Yeah.